If we had a world war or something like that, do you think that China is still going to export to us? And if they stopped exporting to us, how are we going to fight that war when we don't even have lead to make the bullets? Hello, YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday I received a phone call from what I would like to call a friend, but also an insider in the solar energy system or the alternative energy system. He mainly concentrates on solar. And he was telling me about all the problems that we are going to be having with solar, which is kind of baffling with me because right now this administration is trying to shut down our energy via the use of biofuels, i.e. oil or gases. But at the same time, we do not have the production capacity to be able to make all of the solar panels or windmills that we would need in order to replace the energy that we are shutting down. So he went over a few things with me about what's about to happen in the solar industry and is happening already with installers like himself. But it starts with manufacturers, then installers, and then it comes down to the consumer, which is us. So why am I doing this video? If you rely on solar panels, if you're looking to get solar panels or peripherals that go with solar panels, you know, like your inverters, like your batteries, things like that, maybe you ought to think about getting it now while they are still available. Now, if you see any spelling mistakes on this, please forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I was typing and I was just going along with the flow as I was talking to this gentleman. Here he said that this is something that I don't remember reading before. I think I remember hearing about it, but not really reading about it. The last lead smelting plant closed, I think it was in 2013, because of the green movement. But ladies and gentlemen, this is something that I added on to there. The green movement must have forgotten that we need lead for batteries and other things, so now we depend on China for lead imports. So where are we getting our lead if we don't even have the capacity to smelt our own lead? Well, we're importing it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you real quick how it is that we are importing all of the lead that we need. We are still mining some of the lead that we need. We are still mining some of it, but we're importing most of it. Now, this here is a chart from, let me see who it's from again. It's from the USGS, Mineral Industry Survey, all right? And they go back several years, but we're going to go for this year and last year, and I'm going to show you what we import and what we use. So here is last year, 2021, January through December, and then it includes January of this year, 2022. So for all of last year in the United States, we consumed or we used 1.57 million metric tons of lead. But how do we consume it if we don't make it ourselves? We do mine some lead ore and we send it to other countries so that they can smelter it and send it back to us, ladies and gentlemen. So far, just in the month of January, we consumed 146,000 metric tons of lead. So we are importing all of the lead that we need to use. How is that going to work? I'm assuming that China exports to us most of the lead that we use. How is that going to work when they say no more? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going on with every industry. I've said in the past that China owns us. And what I meant by that is that they own our politicians, right? And I still stand by that. It's my opinion, right? Obviously, they don't own them, but you know what I mean when I say that. My opinion. But we find out that they have a big chunk of the U.S. food industry, a big chunk of the U.S. farming or agriculture industry. Now we find out that they have a big chunk of the lead industry. Without China, where are we going to get our lead? All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is a problem that will probably get bigger and bigger as tensions with the United States and China grow larger and larger. He continues to say here that supply of solar materials are so tight that installers are having a hard time being able to get inverters, solar panels, or even AGM batteries, i.e. lead. We need lead for batteries. All right, so for those of you that want to save the world with solar panels, we need lead for batteries. Incredible. Suppliers are out of product and don't know when they will be resupplied. And then he goes on to say that solar panels and inverters used to be the easiest things to get, but not now. They can hardly find them, or at least he can hardly find them in the state that he lives in. And he says here, as I stated before, that he's been doing this for over 20 years, and he's never found a time in his career where it was so difficult to get these simple components. Why? Because we just simply don't make them. We have farmed out all of those industries that are important to us, ladies and gentlemen. This is not just a consumer problem. In my opinion, this is a national security problem. Think about what lead is used for, right? Think about that. And I'm sure that when they passed this law, or when the EPA, who's not even an elected branch of the government, when they decided to shut down our last lead smelting plant, they were probably thinking about something else that uses lead. But with their nonsense and the nonsensical, ideologies that they have in their heads, they didn't even think about that we need lead for a lot of other things besides freedom seeds. And to verify what he told me over the phone, ladies and gentlemen, I did a little bit of research. And it says here, U.S. solar industry prepares for solar panel supply issues. And this is dated April 20th of this year, 2022. Polysilicon maker predicts 5-year shortage of solar raw materials. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 5-year shortage of solar raw materials. If you need any kind of solar components, I would recommend, my opinion, of course, that you get it now. Because a shortage of something means two things. That it will be more difficult to get, number one, and that if you can get it, it will cost a lot more, number two. More than half of 2022 solar projects are threatened by spiking costs, new report finds. Ladies and gentlemen, they want to take us off of biofuels. But at the same time, we don't have the capacity to provide ourselves with the energy that we need through alternate methods. Is that what you call insanity? Florida solar panel manufacturing shortages, raw commodity shortages. As this health crisis related delays are still causing solar equipment shortages, and worldwide raw material prices are soaring as supply shortages continues. And they keep saying as the health crisis related delays. It's not the health crisis that created this. It's not the health crisis that created these problems. It was the policies that were set forth by our rulers, i.e. elected representatives. Inverters and high wattage solar panel shortages. Manufacturing shortages are now affecting higher wattage panels as well as inverter options. As we get further along in the year, module choices and wattage will be less than optimal. Higher wattage modules will be gone and will only have 345 to 370 watt options, which really isn't a lot for someone that has a solar array of, let's say, 10 100 watt solar panels. And this one's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. You know how I've often told you that we live in a debt-based economy and that the higher interest rates affect us, the consumers, even if we don't borrow to buy that product. Why? Because the businesses, the manufacturers, the truck drivers, the supermarkets, almost every business works on credit. And if they're paying higher interest rates, guess where they're going to have to pass on that cost? They're going to have to pass it on to the consumer. Here it says interest rates rising. As the Federal Reserve looks to tackle rising inflation with stricter monetary policies, the solar industry faces higher financing costs due to rising borrowing rates. How a battery shortage is hampering the U.S. switch to wind and solar power. U.S. renewable energy developers have delayed or scrapped several big battery projects meant to store electrical power on the grid in recent months. I wonder why, ladies and gentlemen. Is it because we don't make anything here in the United States and we rely on our adversaries in order to provide us with the things that we need? How easy is it for someone to take over the U.S.? All they have to do is stop shipping to us. People say that China will never stop exporting to us because we account for 2% of their GDP or something like that, right? But think about it. Think about it. If we had a world war or something like that, do you think that China is still going to export to us? And if they stopped exporting to us, how are we going to fight that war when we don't even have lead to make the bullets? The slowdown in utility-scale battery installations threatens the pace of the U.S. transition away from fossil fuels as this administration seeks to decarbonize the grid by 2035. Well, good luck with decarbonizing the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck with that. You know, these same people that are passing these policies, these are the same people that are going to be eating steak. Because even though they say we shouldn't eat meat, they have places where they're going to be able to get steak and eat fresh meat whenever they want. Same thing with power. These are the same people that are going to be leaving us out in the cold when we have no electricity because there's no sun or wind, but they'll have their generators full of fuel. Government is nothing but force. Nothing but force, ladies and gentlemen. Force you to do what they want you to do while they do the exact opposite. Do as I say, not as I do. I think we've learned that lesson in the past. And here it says, just to confirm, EPA closure of last lead smelting plant to impact the production of ammunition. This was back in 2013. And we here have come to a place where we allow non-elected bureaucrats to dictate how we live our lives, ladies and gentlemen. And this is going to affect everything. The meaning of this video is to let you know that if you need solar panels, if you need inverters, if you need batteries, see if you can get them now, because eventually not only will they be unavailable, but if they are available, they'll be a lot more expensive than they are today. All right. Thank you very much to the gentleman that gave me a call. I get information from him every once in a while, so I do appreciate you giving me a call and letting me know about this, because I think this is important. Because if the government is planning to shut down our energy via the use of fossil fuels, then we need to have a backup. Having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to stop ranting on. I hope that you got something out of this. Go get your stuff now if you can. All right, ladies and gentlemen, think outside the box. Think of things that you normally don't use that you may need later on. And if you can, go secure some of that stuff. All right, go get some of that stuff. Think outside the box. If you have a place to put it there. It's not going to hurt anything. If you ever need it, it's going to be there for you. And more than likely, it won't be on the store shelves. Not the world that we're headed into, ladies and gentlemen. The world that we're headed into will be a world of scarcity and a world of ultra high prices. Having said that, have a great day. God bless every one of you. And thank you very much for all of your support. God bless you.
Hello everyone, I have here today in order to ask you one simple question. All the crazy things going on in the world, if something bad happens, if something does not go your way, and it becomes too much to take, tell me, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do if the lights go out, if the bars on your phone go down? What you gonna do when the food in your fridge runs out?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Ladies and gentlemen, Nutrient Survival has launched an Alaska Prepper Payday Prep Bucket, and it will be available for the month of June. When you visit the page, make sure to take a look at the nutrition tool that an independent laboratory has developed, and you will see that this bucket is 17 times more nutrient dense than the top 3 leading brands of long-term freeze-dried foods. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't only partner with Nutrient Survival because they have great people, but because Nutrient Survival is the most nutrient-dense, long-term survival freeze-dried food in the market. And it tastes great. So feed your freedom with Nutrient Survival.